If there's one thing I've learned from recording for the last 20 years, it's that guitar players love worrying about crap that does not matter. With that being said, do DI boxes really make a difference when it comes to the results that you get in your home studio? Just recently, I had a member of my private group, the Frightbox Mix Crypt, ask an excellent question in regards to DI boxes. So what I've decided to do is take a snippet from our conversation and make it a YouTube video so you could hear my in-depth opinion on what I think about DI boxes and whether or not they actually make a difference. Let's dive into it. Okay, Pete. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one that I saw in the community, and I'm like, you know what? I was going to write a novel, but I'm like, no, I'm going to talk about it on the call because this is the stuff that gets me fired up. Okay, so a question for Bobby Torres or anyone else who may know the answer. I use my DI box to capture my guitar DI as well as my amp, pedal, or real amp at the same time. According to the video link posted, doing this can compromise the pure DI signal. The claim is that plugging your guitar into a buffer pedal like a tuner or tube screamer fixes the issue. Is this really a thing or a pretend problem in your experience? If it is a problem and a buffer pedal is a solution, should the pedal be on or off and at what settings? I could say with 100% certainty, for whoever's here, drop a comment right now in the chat. Is this a real problem or is this a pretend problem? Just take your best guess. I want to know, what is your opinion about this before I tell you my opinion? Or maybe you can guess what my opinion is going to be, but let me know what you think. Is this a real problem or is this a pretend problem? It's a great question that Pete has because there are a lot of videos like this on YouTube. And the truth is because they get a lot of views. I know because I've done videos like this and guitar players love like this. All right. I love it. Okay. So let's see what some of the answers are here. Jared says, I've seen this video, but I think it's a pretend problem. Pete, after doing some tests and comparing, I don't see it as a problem. Good. Well, Pete, I love what you just said. You actually did some tests. That's the key thing. It's not a real problem, at least not a major one. Pretend. Yeah. All right, guys. So here's the thing about this whole DI business that people freak out about. Okay, if you take two DI boxes, so let's use this as an example and compare them. Let's suppose that there is a 10% difference between two different DIs. There won't be, but let's just pretend that there is. That small difference, once it goes through a tone, like an actual amp, will then be halved at the least. So then it becomes a 5% difference. What's gonna make the real difference? The way you play, the impulse response you use, the cab you're using, the microphone placement or microphone choice you're using, the room you're recording in, those are all gonna hugely affect your tone. Even if this does change your tone by, like I said, 10%, which it certainly will not, it is a pretend problem. You know, running a clean session, a comfortable session that's quick and tidy and efficient is way more important than getting that 5% difference, if it even is a real thing, you know? Because truth be told, all the sessions I've been in, even real world pro studio sessions, I've never heard pro engineers talk about stuff like this, ever. A DI box pretty much is a DI box, right? I don't care if it's a $100 passive DI box or an active DI box. Technically, the active DI box is cleaner if you look at the specs, but is it perceivable, right? And again, we're talking about guitar. Guitar is a heavily affected instrument. Electric guitar is heavily affected. When it goes through a tone and it goes through a cab, you're doing so much to it. The strings you're using, literally, if they're old or newer, will greatly affect your tone. But something like this, I think, is a pretend problem. Pete, no, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked this. It's not an issue that you have to worry about. You know, I tell people this all the time. I've done sessions with passive Behringer DI boxes, and I've done sessions with my Radial J blah, blah, blah. I think it's a J48. I can't remember. It's the one I've had for like 15 years. It's the blue one, the active one. I don't hear a perceivable difference. I've even done tests where I've punched in on a track, you know, like I've recorded myself playing guitar, punch in on a track with different preamps, different DI boxes, and you cannot, once you crossfade the punches, when the clicks and pops are gone, you cannot hear a difference between different DI boxes, right? And if you can, it's so minute, literally picking, you know, a millimeter to the left is gonna make more of a difference. So that's my take on this. Let's go back in time. I'm glad you guys all had the right opinion. I didn't even have to say it. It's not a huge issue once you're in the mix. There's a small change to the DI signal depending on what you're using, but you're not going to notice it in the context of all the other instruments. Dude, you won't even notice it once you have a tone engaged. At the most, you're gonna get a 10% difference. There's no way it's gonna be more than that. And I think that's even at the most. That's an extreme situation. That's the pure DI, like literally no amp sim, no tone, no impulse response. Once it goes through a tone, that's why, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, like a lot of producers will fix when a musician can't play a part, they'll go in there and punch in when they're using amp sims, because even with a different guitar, I've done it all the time. I'll punch in with my own guitar. That's a completely different make, different pickups, different make and model on the same track where somebody else was using a Les Paul. And you can't hear the transition because the tone, well, the way you're playing obviously affects it, but the actual impulse response and the tone you're using is going to be the consistency there, right? And that's even with different DIs. Like I'll be recording at the studio with my Radial, and then at my house, I'm just recording it to my cheapo Steinberg. I'm not even using a DI box, and you can't even hear it on the track. And that's a different guitar player, different guitar, and a different DI box, and a different interface. Store that in memory, right, for future reference. So good stuff. Yeah, Henrik says because my pickups are active, even with passive pickups, it's not an issue. Right, I promise you it is not. These are made up problems. The truth is the things that we really need to be focusing on are good songwriting, good pre-production, good performances, good editing, good source sound selection. A lot of these other things just get hype on YouTube because, like I said, they're just popular topics for some bizarre, it's like investing, right? You have cryptocurrency. You've got the latest, hottest stock. No one wants to talk about boring broad market index funds. That's boring as hell. Same thing with fitness, right? We talk about the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, when in reality it's eat higher quality food and cut your calories. There you go. Same thing. So good stuff. Rant ended.
So as you can see, so many of us focus on the wrong things when it comes to achieving the results that we want with our music in our home studios. I don't want this for you. I want you producing great results with the gear you currently are using. And because of this, I'm offering you direct access right now to my free training, 4 dead simple ways to massively improve your recordings and mixes. In this free training, you'll learn my #1 technique for prepping heavy guitar tracks that virtually mix themselves. You'll also learn how to create instantaneous clarity within your mixes using any old stock EQ plugin. Finally, learn how to take control over the levels in your mix so that instruments stop fighting with one another. And learn how to craft radio-ready vocal mixes using only stock plugins. Now, full disclosure, if you're one of these people that's constantly scrolling through TikTok and you have the attention span of a squirrel, don't waste your time. This training is not for you. It's meant for people who are serious like I am about audio production. Now, if you're making any of the mistakes that I talked about in this video, you're sick and tired of chasing your tail and you just want to produce pro level results with the gear you're using, you can have direct access to the training for absolutely free by clicking the link below in this video's description. And until next time, drink that Spindrift.